field. His lolo Pino inspired him to take architecture instead. He graduated in 2002, had a family, and left Philippines for Dubai to work. He worked in a landscaping architectural firm. He then decided to take the board exam. Through God's grace and lots of prayers, family support, he bagged the fourth place. A man of simple interest. May we call on architect
Ramil Cervantes.
To our Consul General Honorable Francia, to our distinguished guests, to our UAP Dubai Chapter President Ramil, to our Abu Dhabi UAP Chapter friends, to our UAP Officer Dubai, to our FLEA instructors, to our friends, to our family and loved ones, to my fellow architects, and of course to my wife. Good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate everybody, especially Batch Bataal, for passing the licensure exam for architects. Let us all clap our hands and if you can please be more forgiving, I would like to make a quick selfie. This is now in the dictionary, so
Basta kasama kami, sir, okay lang.
thank you so much. I would like to give thanks first and foremost to the Lord who gave me all the blessings, especially the wisdom. From His infinite wisdom, He reminded me of a lot of things, especially during the exam. It's really difficult to remember everything we have studied, especially when you're very tense during the exam. So I thank my God for giving me a calm heart and a wisdom. I would also like to thank the people behind FLEA, the last batch, who taught us for free. It's a very heartwarming task. I am very thankful to them. I would also like to thank Architect Ron Salcedo, Architect Jeffrey Cebu, and Architect Lana for leading the Filipino architects in Dubai. And of course, I would like to thank the medium groups of FLEA, the Sergeant Group by Architect Teddy, the NG Group by Architect Ato, and of course, the best group of all, the SK Group. Thank you for everything you have taught me and my group. Of course, there's a lot of people who helped and taught us during the course of the review. There are a lot of names, but I cannot mention them because I only have a few minutes. And we know you guys by heart. We love you. Thanks. And in Proverbs 27:17, it says that iron sharpens iron, so as one man sharpens another. I would like to thank my small group, the Manyosa group. Yeah. And they are my newfound friends, and they are the best. And of course, there's also a popular saying, behind every great man is a great woman. I would like to thank my wife, Cervantes. Should we stand up? I love you. And lastly, who would ever forget to thank their parents? I think on Gemma and JC. Glad to see their parents. It's very unfortunate that my mom and dad is not here to celebrate with me. It's all because of what everybody else need financially. And I'd like to make a message to them through Tagalog, if you don't mind. The camera is here, right? Mama, Papa, I made it. And maraming salamat po. Kung hindi po dahil sa inyo, wala po ako dito sa kinalalagyan ko ngayon. Huwag po kayong mag-alala, makakaasa po kayo sa mataas-taas na padala. I prepared a little bit of inspirational speech. I would like to deliver it in English as much as possible, as much as I can. I don't usually read outlines because I want it from the bottom of my heart. This is just an outline, so okay. I would like to start with a short story. There was a preacher who was invited to a church, and that was Sunday. And when he stepped up on top of the stage, the preacher asked the congregation. He looked into their eyes and he asked them, "Do you guys know what is my message?" Then everybody was silent, and momentarily the congregation said, "No, we don't know your message." And then the preacher stepped down to the pulpit and then silently walked away. Then the congregation was started or was surprised. Then the next Sunday he was invited again. The preacher again asked the same question to the same congregation. He asked them, "Do you now know what's the message?" And the congregation was confused. Partly, half of them said yes, and the other half said no. So the preacher said, "Those who know, please tell to the ones who doesn't know." So the congregation again was startled and confused. And then the preacher went down again silently and walked away. The next week, the following week, it was the oath-taking. And then now, I'm standing here before you and would like to ask the same question. Do you know my message? Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm just kidding. I will tell you the message later. Please remind me of that before I leave the pulpit. Okay. It was so fortunate and privileged that I was able to attend the GMM last Friday, and the distinguished or the speaker was our PRC chairman, Teresita Mansala, and Madam Honorable Yolanda Reyes. The topic was very nice. I would like to share it to you. First off, Ma'am Teresita Mansala, who is she? She is the PRC chairman, as I've said. She is like the general. I see her as a general because she is heading one of the educational body in the Philippines, and she did not send anyone else but herself. Because why? Because there's an important message, especially for the professionals abroad. The message was about globalization, liberalization, and boundaryless economy. Please, I encourage you guys to read more about it and search more about it because it will affect our field and our profession. So how we're going to do it? She said, by upgrading oneself and be registered APIC architect or ASEAN architect. So the bottom line is, the world is changing and everything is becoming uncertain, with a lot of possibilities and opportunities for oneself to grow in their respective profession. Which means we should know how to market ourselves as architects. Later I will send my CV to those companies who... I'm kidding. Let's go to that was a big picture. Now for us, for a smaller picture, I would like to discuss Miss Yolanda Reyes' speech or advice. She said, we need to be holistic. The architect should be holistic and should improve ourselves on our current position in the office. We should become specialists. Don't think of yourselves as just like CAD operators or simple designer. You must upgrade yourselves and be holistic, specialize on one thing. Like for example, me, I do landscape. It was an eye-opener for me because I'm just taking it very lightly. Probably, God willing, if I have more time and a lot of opportunity, I would like to study more. Now, let's go down to the smallest picture. That is us, Bataal. Let us look ourselves individually. Bataal means hero. First Bataal. But Bataal, I did a deeper meaning to Bataal. I use Bataal as an acronym, and I would like to share it with you. I thought first of using architect, but somebody else did that already. So Bataal is probably the best for us. Letter B for Bataal. For me, letter B stands for be early. Be early. We are going to as I've said, the bigger picture was the message of Miss Teresita, and the smaller picture is the message of Ma'am Yolanda, and the smallest picture is us, because that's where all starts to be holistic and to improve ourselves. So one is be early. By the way, you can do the same. You can do your own personal meaning to every letters of it. Okay, be early. I suggest, which is I'm also guilty of. I'm always late in the office. 30 minutes, 20 minutes. This is also a message for me. I want to be early also. So I suggest also to every one of us, be early in the office. I'm talking about career, not personal things. Be early in the meetings. Be early in the events. This session started 4 o'clock, I guess. Only the officers were the very early ones. I was late for 30 minutes again. There was also back there in the Philippines, I have a boss who was late for a meeting, and the organizer said to him, "You just lost a couple of million." Then I knew it was because it was the Ayalas, the big guys in the Philippines, and my boss was Mr. Palabox during that time. That's because of being late. Filipino time is it's not about being exact time. It should be early. That's B. And we have a long way to go. Bataal. Letter A. Always pray. Before you start in the morning, before you wake up, or before you start working, pray. I suggest you pray. Because most of the time there are always stress and there are always pressure in the office. Sometimes if you don't have an outlet, it's difficult to handle, and sometimes some of us may just cry. So I suggest pray because it helps us to have a focus on that day. What's the benefit of praying? It makes us spiritually healthy and keeps you away from being materialistic. Pray for yourself, pray for your family, pray for work, pray for your bosses, pray for your co-workers, pray for your countrymen. Pray before you eat and pray before you sleep. That's A. And letter D for time management. Ecclesiastes 3 says, there is a time for everything, a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to weep and a time to laugh, so on and so forth. When we were born, there was already an expiry date marked on us. So there's a time to be born and a time to die. If you are in the office, work diligently. Do your work without doing anything else. Mostly, it's difficult whenever you have your computer with you. It's very tempting to open Facebook. It's very tempting to open Twitter and doing extra things like YouTube and other social websites. It's difficult to resist that temptation, but I urge you, brothers, that you must always watch yourself and guard your heart on making your time wisely or using your time wisely. When I was in college, there was a Filipino teacher in our subject. She used to be very early, but then one time she was late. She was late for 15 minutes. So what we all did, my classmates and I, we did plate or assignments in other subjects. Then suddenly, when she came in, she shouted, "Mga magnanakaw!" It means, "You are all thieves." We are all afraid because we thought that she lost something important to her. Then she said, "Mga magnanakaw ng oras!" Then we understand that she was referring to time. You are thieves. You are using my time, on different subject, but this is a Filipino class. So we must be reminded that when we are in the office, we should always use that time for the office and work diligently, as I've said. don't work on anything else. Probably during break time you can do your Facebook. That's for D, and now let's go to A, Bataal. Are there 3 A's in Bataal? Only 2 A's. The first one is acquire knowledge. As I've said, if you are doing CAD in your office, study other programs like SketchUp, Revit, and improve yourself. If you're just doing CAD, ask your bosses to enroll you or give you an opportunity to study. I remember there are some colleagues where they are studying, but they are not using it in the office. They were thinking that the office is taking advantage of them. But to be honest with you, if you're going to practice it, both of you will benefit. You will, when you practice what you've learned, you will improve your skill. And at the same time, your boss will give you increase. It's not the other way around. Sometimes you're asking first for an increase, and then later on you will show your talent. It's not like that. If you're the owner, you should know their place. If you're the employee, you should know the owner's place or stand. Whenever, like for example, if I have a business, of course I will look on to employees who are hardworking. Then I will give you an increase. It's not the way like you first give me an increase, then I will do harder. That's for A4. Acquire knowledge. Not just the CAD operators, but all the other designers, all the other architects in different field. Now for the next A, accept who you are. As the Lord love you as you are, be confident and love yourself also. There's nothing wrong with listening to others, to other people's opinions, and advices, but pick up what is really useful for you, and accept yourself, and do not shy out. I used to be in elementary. I'm sorry to share those past moments. When I was in elementary, my teacher in grade school used to ask me, Mr. Ramil, can you please hide a little bit at the back because we have visitors coming. So I was a little bit disappointed. I know I'm not smart during those childhood years, but the Lord was faithful and He made me realize a lot of things, and He gave me a lot of confidence. There was also another story about because sometimes we don't have our own judgment. We always refer to others to give us advices and give us ideas and everything. We don't have our own judgment. There was a story about a father and a son and a donkey. They set to travel in a distance. They packed their things and set forth. When they passed the first village, and by the way, the kid was riding the donkey. When they passed the first village, the villager said, "Poor man, poor old man," because the kid was riding and the old man is just walking. And so what they did was they swapped places. And when they reached another village, the villagers said, "Poor kid, very poor kid," because he was walking while the father is just sitting on the donkey. And then when they passed another village, they again what they did was both ride the donkey. And when they passed the villager said, "Poor donkey." Both of them are riding, including the baggage. Poor donkey. So what they did was just when they went out of the village, they all walked, and the donkey was become useless because they did not ride the donkey. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes listening to to all people is difficult because they are trying to mold you on what they really want you to be. That's their personal wants or personal thing. But what I'm saying is to accept yourself and have your own personal judgment, believe on what you can do, and that's it. So the last letter will be letter A, L, for Bataal. Leave everything to God. I got a book where I won another prize, and there was a dedication written, "Put your trust in the Lord completely, and He will guide your steps." It was written by Architect Ongiko. It was really a nice book, and it was really a nice message. It is really a nice message. Indeed, that's very true on my personal walk of life. I always consider my God. And of course, the Lord is our Father. Everything the Father desires is the best for His children. Do your best, and God will do the rest. So that's for Bataal. If you can still remember, B for be early. A for always pray. T for time management. A for acquire knowledge. A for accept yourself. And then L for leave everything to God. So that's my message. Thank you very much, and mabuhay ang arkitektong Filipino. All glory to the Lord who is the supreme architect of heaven.
Thank you, Architect Ramil Cervantes, for that very, very inspirational message.
Now we have a surprise for all.